Hey YouTube, Satoshi Matrix here yet again bringing you another video. This time I wanted to talk about two controller adapters that you can find from RetroUSB.com. They are the NES RetroPort and SNES RetroPort. These controller adapters allow you to use authentic original Nintendo Entertainment System or Super Nintendo Entertainment System Super Famicom controllers directly on your Nintendo Wii. However, these controllers, as you might notice, use the GameCube controller port, so these are actually fully compatible with the Nintendo GameCube. What does that mean? How can you use an NES controller on a GameCube? Well, there's something that immediately comes to mind, and that is, of course, the GameBoy Player. The GameBoy Player allows you to play original Game Boy, Game Boy Color, and Game Boy Advance games on your GameCube. So, considering that the stock GameCube controller doesn't have the best D-pad and oversized A button and super tiny B button isn't really ideal for playing Game Boy games, these controllers both do the job very well. So I have my old trusty GameCube right there, along with a Game Boy Color game already plugged in. So let's try out the NES controller. Okay, so we take our NES controller, find its port right here, CNES port, and we're going to plug it into the female end of the adapter. We'll put it down. Oops. And it simply connects just like that. And then we take the other end to the GameCube and plug it in. Now we turn the TV on, reveal what game we're playing. GameCube is already on. Oh, what do you know? It's my favorite GBC game. So then you just simply take the B button and it works as the Game Boy Color's B button. Move with the D-pad, attack with the B button, jump with A. Again, hard to play one-handed, but you get the idea. So when you're done, you can simply press the select button, which acts as the Wii, or I should say the GameCube's Z button. So unfortunately, the default select button is not mapped to anything, and that's a problem that plagues both the NES and SNES RetroPorts. So for any games that need select, you'll need to switch to another controller, unfortunately. But luckily, not many games need select at all. So let's simply hit change game and go to the GameCube, pull game out. That of course was the excellent Shantae. Now we're going to plug in another favorite of mine. Here's Mega Man 4, or Rockman World V, or IV I should say. Plug it in. Down. Boots up. I'm going to take our NES controller, press start. Yes, collect P-chips or something. Start. Once again, Press B to fire, A to jump, move with the command cross, hold B to charge your shot, and when you're done, press select, change game. Pull the game out. Try one more game. Down. This is another favorite of mine. Survival Kids, I love this game. I already have my knife equipped. Slice down the grass. Kill the rabbit. Try to, anyway. So anyway, that's the NES controller being used to play Game Boy games. But what about Game Boy Advance games? Because they, of course, have 4 buttons as opposed to the NES's only 2. For those, you can use the SNES or Super Famicom controller. So all I'm going to do is unplug the controller adapter, set it aside, take the other adapter, take our Super Nintendo controller port, and plug it into this controller port. You of course can use Super Nintendo controllers. I'm just using a Super Famicom controller because that's what I have on hand. So you take the adapter end, plug it in. Let's boot up, say for instance, Super Mario Bros. 3, Super Mario Advance 4. Okay, put this down. Push in. Boots up. Oh, looks like it needs to be blown in. Sorry about that. This goes to prove that any cartridge can build up the dust. Take our Super Nintendo controller.
Choose a game. Here we go. Super Mario.
Let's select a random world. I don't know, let's try World 4. I do not want to play this game. Let's just go to the regular stage. Again. Jump. Oh no. the Tanuki suit. But this is another 2-button game, so let's try something that uses the shoulder buttons. Check the game, and let's put in this mysterious game. This is something I imported from Europe a few years back, and I'm so glad I did. For this game right here. This is the Asterix and Obelix XXL for the Game Boy Advance. Probably one of the most technologically advanced games ever developed for the Game Boy Advance. So let's choose British English. Loads our game. So check this out. This is a 3D action game, but check out what you can do with the shoulder buttons. Yeah, that's right. Full 3D environment. And of course, the other shoulder button works the same way. Of course, this is difficult to play one-handed, but again, you get the idea. Beat this guy up. Alright, so enough about that. You get the idea. So, Super Nintendo games, sure, Super Nintendo controllers, Super Famicom controllers, and NES controllers work very well to play Game Boy games on the Game Boy Player. But that's not all the Game Boy Player, or that's not all the GameCube can do, of course. Since these are GameCube controllers, there are a number of GameCube games that benefit greatly from having a really good D-pad and the classic SNES controller especially. So some games other than the Game Boy Player include the remake of Resident Evil, Resident Evil 2, Resident Evil 3, Resident Evil 4, Resident Evil Code Veronica X, Namco Museum, the 50th anniversary, which of course has a bunch of MAME arcade games on it. Mega Man Network Transmission benefits really greatly from the GameCube from the SNES controller. Mega Man X Collection, Soul Calibur 2, and Sonic Mega Collection. So in the time remaining, I'm just going to show you what I can. So pull out the GameCube or starter disc, put in Sonic Mega Collection, press the power button. I still have the SNES controller plugged in. That's a juxtaposition. No, I have my wrong memory cards, I guess. Let's do it that way. Let's boot Sonic and show you guys Sonic with an SNES controller. I think point proven. Anyway, thanks for watching, YouTube. Later.